Blades fans, subscribe to Blades Ramble. Up the Blades.
What's happening, Blades, and welcome back to the Blades Ramble. I am, of course, Jimmy, and we're proudly sponsored by Action Coach Sheffield. If you're a growing business and want support to continue that growth, they are the people to speak to. We're also sponsored by V&B Auto Centres, who are still offering 50% off your MOTs at Handsworth. Aaron and the team, thank you for their continued support. You have to mention that you're a Rambler, though. Tell them you're a Rambler, and that's where you came from. So that's all good. And this is the warm-up, so thank you also to Triple Point. We will be there pre-match on Saturday. Be good to see as many of you down there as we can as we get ready for Plymouth Argyle. Wayne Rooney's Plymouth Argyle. Sorry, I misspoke there. It's no longer just Plymouth, is it? It's Wayne Rooney's Plymouth Argyle. Much like Frank Lampard's Coventry City, I suppose, in many ways. So, we are back again. We are warming up, but I still can't get over that brilliant result against Millwall. Last night, and it's back to the top of the league, and I'll be able to talk about that with Connor in 30 short minutes because I'm back over on the One Leeds fan channel. We'll be talking all things Leeds and Sheffield United, two teams that look like they might start be pulling away. What do you think? Do you think it's up to us, isn't it? Obviously, to maintain form, and we've got a game against Plymouth at home coming up, which we'll talk about today. We're then away at Cardiff. And then we welcome third place Burnley to Bramall Lane on Boxing Day. And if things stay as they are, with a potential to open up a 7-point gap on Burnley in third. It's really exciting. And the job that Chris Wilder has done is absolutely incredible. The whole club, to be honest, in terms of the support that Wilder's received, the backing for the transfers that he's made, the players themselves coming in and working their socks off, because this is a squad game, isn't it? How high does Salmon McCallum, as he were called in the comments last night, how high does he get in the air? I thought Kiefer Moore looked rusty last night when he came on, but grease those wheels and get him back playing again. We need to get him back up to match fitness as soon as possible. I'm not so sure where we are with Tyrese Campbell. Nels rolled his ankle. He was a surprising exclusion, or certainly that's the news that's coming out of Bramall Lane, that he's rolled his ankle. Don't know how long he's going to be out for. So yeah, not sure about Ty Campbell, as I said. And Tom Davies, what another performance from the bench for Tom Davies, which is probably just in time because it looked like Vinny Souza went down with a groin strain or a hamstring strain or something. From what I'm told, 2 games we're expecting Vinny to miss. That may change, obviously. That's the initial diagnosis. But 2 games, I believe, will be without Vinny. So I'm full of confidence, not only because of who we're playing, and I don't mean that disrespectfully to Plymouth and Cardiff, but that Tom Davies can come in and do a great job. I thought his game management yesterday, his experience, I just thought it was very, very good. Knew exactly what to do. Got the ball, went straight for the corner. Just intelligent play. And yeah, it were really pleasing to see, and pleasing for a lad that's come back from such a horrific injury and a horrific period with injury throughout his career over the last 3 years, really. And that leads me nicely to the goal scorer himself, Ryan Brewster. Look, many of us, me included, have doubted Ryan in terms of whether he can actually come good for us. And 1 goal does not mean, anybody was wrong or anybody was right or whatever it might be. It doesn't mean he's going to go and score a hatful now. I don't think anybody's expecting that. But for the lad who's had such horrific injury problems himself, and it's all about confidence as a football player, but especially as a striker, to keep his head up and continue with a smile on his face like he has. And it's not always about, being a nice lad, but it is about attitude, and it's about how you get back and how you recover. I was absolutely delighted for him. He obviously peels off. So I have to give Jack Robinson his flowers as well. I will often sort of state my concerns with Jack Robinson being included, and it does get me some pelters in the comments because people are he's a bit of a cult hero at Sheffield United because of the type of player he is. He does give everything for the shirt, and ultimately that's what we ask. So I'm not going to sort of give any counter to that at all tonight. But what I will say is, if he had a bit more confidence in his own ability when he's pinging balls like that, somebody in comments put last night, great move from Wilder putting prime Ollie Norwood at centre half for us last night. What an absolutely brilliant pass from Jack Robinson. That's the first bit of praise that needs to be said. Gustavo Hamer, that is why he's spoken about. That's why people talk about him. That's why people want him. That's what he can do. If he did it every week, he'd be playing for Liverpool. But the inconsistency sort of leans into Sheffield United's favour a little bit. What a little magician he can be when he needs to be. He took that, but nobody else on the pitch would have had that touch. He didn't break his stride. He was direct. Ryan Brewster, to be fair to him as well, peels off his man at the far post, gets himself in space, striker's instinct, and taps it into an empty net after it's passed across goal by Gus. An absolutely brilliant team goal. Brilliant team goal involving just 3 players, really, but it just shows the difference in quality at the level, to be honest, because Millwall, I thought, looked very good. Another really tough team. As we've already said, a really difficult place to go. But they couldn't penetrate us. They hit the post, to be fair. I thought they got a little bit lucky with a couple of the chances, but they did carve us open once or twice, which was a bit concerning. I thought Harry Souttar looked a little bit rusty early doors and then grew into the game, and by the end of it was doing really well. I have to mention Jack Robinson at the end as well, throwing his body on the line for a block that I thought originally were Alfie Gilchrist, but it was Jack Robinson. Thought Alfie Gilchrist had a great game. Thought Sousa looked off the boil a little bit before he went off. Thought Raksaki hasn't been at his best recently. But we found a way, didn't we? We found a way. And that extra little bit of quality in the end has seen us get 3 points at a really difficult place to go. Not just a difficult place to go, a place where Sunderland went and could only get a point, a place where Burnley went and lost, and a place where, who else? Leeds went and lost. So we've now played 20 games. 11 of those games, by the way, have been away from home. We've only played 9 home games, and 8 of those are wins to clean sheets, by the way. Absolutely ludicrous record, but we've now ticked off what I would say are 4 really difficult grounds. So that's Ellen Road, the Riverside, the Hawthorns, and the Den. We've been to all 4 now. And to come back with 4 points from that cluster of games, essentially, if you can look at it however you want, you can stack it up however you want to do it, but absolutely incredible from the boys last night. You don't have to be firing on all cylinders. I've seen some comments about performance has been poor and all this sort of thing, and I've sort of fired back with, well, sometimes when you're not playing at your best, it's great to get a result. And me and Man Mountain were talking about that last night, but to be fair, I don't think we're playing poorly. I think we're a bit disjointed at times, which is the absolute least you can expect from a new team being put together. But it's, I think we're playing well, and ultimately we're managing to edge games, aren't we? And it's absolutely brilliant. I'm absolutely buzzing for where we're top of the league, 4 points clear of 3rd place. I don't know how. I think some Unitedites need to just enjoy it. We talk about this in our group because some are a little bit more nervy than others. I just think we've been through such a roller coaster over the last 10 years, really. And I think, look at where we started in League One 10 years ago to where we are now. And a legit yo-yo club, really, is what I'd call us. We're in that cluster of about 5 or 6 clubs where we're probably too good for the Championship on a good day, and we're not good enough for the Premier League currently. So it's sublime to ridiculous sometimes, isn't it? And these seasons where we're winning most games, I'm going to Lane on Saturday, and I fully expect us to win. And I'm not usually confident, like overly confident, and that's not me being entitled. That's because Plymouth are on a poor run of form. I don't rate the manager. And I fully expect us, or we should, with the quality of player that we've got and the form that we're on and the fact that we're at home, we should be going against Plymouth on Saturday and coming home with 3 points quite comfortably. So don't just take my word for it on what Plymouth can do. I've got a very special guest that's come on to give us a bit of a rundown on Plymouth. Thank you so much to Pieface for coming on and doing this for us. So without further ado, this is our Plymouth rundown.
Yeah, so on Mike Cooper, what a player. Gutted to let him go, to be fair. Friend of mine as well, top geezer. I've always said at some point, I think he'd be England's #1, and I'll be disappointed if he definitely doesn't represent England one day. So, yeah, shout out Mike Cooper. What an absolute beast, and what a great job he's doing for you guys. Thing with Rooney is, to be honest, I don't think we could have Mourinho or Ferguson, Guardiola in charge. I don't think it really make a difference. We've got a lot of injuries. Our squad is thin. We haven't had a lot of investment. So, as much as he's not done a great job, I kind of want him to succeed, if I'm honest. That's how I sort of feel about Rooney itself. Away from home against you guys, probably a 5 at the back. We probably sat with 3 centre-backs, sort of like the 2 wing-backs, quite compacted in the midfield with a couple of wingers. Is how I'd expect us to play. I could be wrong, but that's what I'd expect. Most of them are injured, but we've got Randall in centre mid. He likes to pull the strings, so if we can get him cooking, and he kind of like pieces us all together and works well as a team, then that certainly is someone that can cause a threat. He's got a long shot in him, great free kick, so that's going to be our main help, I think. Away from home, our whole team, I mean, we are abysmal. You've seen our away form. It's terrible. We don't win away games. We are absolutely shocking. In terms of the way of the game itself, I highly expect you guys to dominate. I know you don't score that many at home, but you also don't concede many at home. I know you're very, very strong in that department, especially with Cooper in goal. I'm going fully expect us to get pumped. If we get anything out of the game, it's a result. Honestly, if we lose 2 or 3-0, it's almost like I'm treating that as a result if we don't get absolutely pumped. So in terms of a score prediction, that's probably how I would see it going. So yeah, go easy on us, please, if you could. That would be lovely. My Twitter is at @the_pieface, and pieface23ttv is my Instagram. I do fancy you boys to go up this year with Leeds, maybe first or second. You are very strong. Maybe Burnley in the mix, but I think you're Leeds, so I'd probably actually have you down to win the league.
You're my best friend, and I know I'm not yours, and that's okay.
With us, if we survive, it's a bloody miracle. But good luck on Saturday. Go easy on us, and all the best. Cheers.
Off the blades of the Ramble.
Thank you to Jack Pieface. I'm just laughing at myself as well with that. You're my best friend, and I'm not yours, but that's okay. Yeah, brilliant. That a bit of a coup for the channel, to be honest, to get Jack on. So thank you, Pieface, for your contribution there. It gives us a little bit of an idea as to what to expect. The fact that he said that they're abysmal away from home and they're expecting a Tonkin is interesting, quite funny, maybe a little bit scary, to the point where we know that everybody expects a United win on Saturday. Does that offer up a potential banana skin? Maybe. We still need to do the business, even though we're expected to do it, don't we? So I'll get into some of your comments now before we jump into a bit of Born to be Wilder. Like and subscribe. Up the blades, up the ramble, says Block Blast. Thank you, Block Blast. Much appreciated, pal. Evening, pal, says Liam. Hope you're well, and what a win last night. I was so pleased for Brewster. Tom Davies was phenomenal. I told you it could be if fit on Hot Topic, if you remember. O'Hare never stopped running. You did, Liam. Hot Topic is a Patreon-only like exclusive show that we do every other Monday, sort of intertwined with Three Mighty Blades. And Liam, you and a few others, to be fair, have said Tom Davies will be some player. And I never doubted it in so many terms, but I was just a little bit skeptical because you never know what players are going to come back like from major injuries, do you? So we've seen it before where players actually drop off. I think probably the most well-known one would be, I don't think Michael Owen was ever the same after injury and things like that. But yeah, he's looked brilliant, to be honest, in both his substitute appearances. And that Hamer touch and vision is world class. Up the blades, up the ramble. Please like and subscribe, and let's push towards 6K. Wow, thank you, Liam. Much appreciated. Can't believe how many we had yesterday watching on both the watch along and the debrief, the post match with me and Man Mountain. So over 1,000, in fact, over 1,200 people at one point. Ludicrous numbers. So if none of those, if some of those aren't subscribed, then please do, because it helps the channel grow, and I appreciate everyone's support. Danny boy, good evening, mate. I think we should start Davies against Plymouth and rest Sousa for the next game. Start with Kiefer as well, and bring on Brewster in the second half. It gives Kiefer a chance to get rid of rustiness and gain fitness. Well, Danny, now that you've mentioned it and what your team might be, because it's quite similar to mine, let's have a little look with a bit of Born to be Wild.
Born to be wild.
Tell.
Born to be Wilder. So what is your team? This is what you would play if you were Wilder. As I've said before, we think, in fact, I'll just put my team up. Let's go with it. It's here. So this is my team. I'm going Cooper in goal, obviously. Best keeper in the league, without a doubt. I'm going with the two best fullbacks in the league, in my opinion. Love Alfie Gilchrist. Love Harrison Burrows. Think they're getting better all the time. It was good to see Harry Souttar come back to somewhat of his best form in the game against Millwall last night. Hopefully he can carry on where he finished at final whistle. I thought it was great yesterday after he'd grown into the game a little bit. Jack Robinson, fair play to you, my boy. Fair play, because I sometimes think I am a little bit blinkered because of scars in the past that you've given me. But with Anel being out, you've got to expect that when you hear somebody's rolled their ankle, it's not normally just a couple of days, is it? So I would expect Anel not to be fit for this game. And in my personal opinion, I am more than happy with Robinson deputising. There are others probably watching that think, well, Anel doesn't get back in, even if fit, and some would start Robinson just because of his performance yesterday as well. So fair play to him. It does show what competition for places does, I think, in terms of Robinson knows that he's the third choice centre-back at the moment when everybody's fit. And is it up in his levels? Is that fair to say that he's now improving because of that pressure? And he might now see a little gap in the little crack in the door, a bit of light at the end of the tunnel, if he can keep this shirt now. In the middle, Siddy Peck, who had an understated, very good game yesterday. Thanks to Lee and a couple of others in the chat later on who pointed it out, how well Siddy had played and consistently. The fact that Vinny's out, we think, for the next couple of games, I'm more than comfortable with Tom Davies coming in. It does leave us very light in midfield. It's probably going to be Jamie Shackleton that comes on to relieve Tom Davies at some point. Unless it's going to be Andre Brooks, but I'm not sure how Andre Brooks will work in a two in the middle. Raksaki, O'Hare and Hamer, that wonderful three. I think Gus Hamer, what can you say about Gus Hamer that I haven't already said tonight? He's been absolutely unbelievable. What he can do in a moment just changes the game. Without him yesterday, we don't win that game. Raksaki has gone off the boil a little bit. Maybe Plymouth is the perfect catalyst to get him back firing again. Somebody who he can gain a bit of confidence from playing against. And again, that sounds quite disrespectful to Plymouth, but I'm just being honest. To be honest, that's where I think. Callum O'Hare is another one that is growing and growing into his role. I think maybe we expected a little bit too much, and that's not the lad's fault. And I'm not saying everybody else did, but I certainly expected a lot from him. And he didn't quite live up to the expectations that I had. But that's not his fault, is it? That's my expectations for him. And I think the effort levels he puts in are through the roof at the minute. The high press, the way he pressures defenders and the goalkeeper into making mistakes is really strong. I think sometimes he'll have a flick or a trick that don't come off, and it frustrates people. I think he's still muscled off the ball quite easily. there are things to work on. But I think when a lad gives as much effort as Callum O'Hare does, he deserves to stay in the side, and he's getting better every game, I think. I've gone for a controversial pick up front because probably the moral thing to do might be to leave Rhian Brewster in, but I'm going for a more a wider approach, I think, with picking Kiefer Moore. I think most would want Brewster in after his goal, but I think Kiefer Moore needs the minutes. I think he looked very rusty when he came on for the last half hour yesterday. I'd love him to get a goal here. I'd love him to get a goal to get him kick-started again after injury. And maybe if he can get a goal early on, you bring Brewster on after 60 minutes, and all is right in the world again. But absolutely delighted for Rhian Brewster yesterday. I don't know if I mentioned that after he'd scored his goal, he were interviewed afterwards, I think, by Andy Giddins, and he said that his cousin had died earlier that day, yesterday. So he dedicated the goal to his younger cousin. So he'd obviously been going through something significantly traumatic, both himself and his family. A lot of his family were also planned to go there to watch him last night. Only his mum made it, and a lot of his mates. But fair play to Rhian Brewster. He pointed to the sky, didn't he, after he scored, and that was for his cousin. So fair dues. That takes some mental toughness, that to not only put your hand up and say I want to play, but to score. Yeah, brilliant from Rhian. Brilliant. Danny also says, great result last night from bang average performance. Can see a demolition of Plymouth on Saturday. Jimmy, need to get that goal difference up, as it's like having an extra point, maybe key to go up. I don't think it's going to be key to going up, pal. I think it's maybe key to catching leads. I think that ship has sailed, if I'm honest. Let me just double check and see. I ain't got long because I'm on with Connor at 8 o'clock, but they are. I suppose it's not as bad as I thought. The 5 goals in front of us, I thought it had already gone, but it hasn't. Leeds do look like they're quite free scoring. I think where you're going to get at Leeds is the defence, personally, and they've got a decent defensive record. We've both got decent records, haven't we? Because look at where we are in the table. But I don't think it's going to be a difference between going up or not. It might be a difference between first and second, because it's like they've got an extra point on us. Need to give that Connor some stick. Is it me, or are all Leeds fans overconfident about how good their team is? Makes you laugh, especially when they lose and spit the dummies out. That just Joe is the same. Good day, says Dino, out in London. Not the best performance, but came back with the points. That's what good teams do. Surprised how few Millwall fans turned up. Blades were class, as it was blooming cold. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Cheers, Dino. Glad you had a safe trip back, pal. Hope Nell is back. Give Tom Davies a start at the side of Pet Rest Sousa this week. United win 2-0. Not sure on Brewster. Up the Blades, up the Ramble, says Ron. Like and subscribe. Thank you, pal. I think Anel will be out, personally, but that's just speculation on my part. Ricky says, evening, Jimmy. With the next 2 games, I'd ring the changes and give Hamer and a few others a break. Bring them off the bench if needed, as the 4 games after that are very tough. Interesting shout. Evening, Jimmy, says Martin. For all the first half possession, we didn't create much in the way of chances. Always passing backwards or sideways. I think at times, if we got a pen, it would be passed back. Got to be going to reduce the goal difference against Plymouth. 4-0 is doable. Rooney has no chance of outthinking Wilder. Go for it, Blades. How do Jimmy, says Pixie. I hate it when people say Rooney's Plymouth, Lampard's Coventry. Have they bought the clubs all of a sudden? It's a ridiculous media narrative, isn't it? It's as if the managers are worth more than the clubs. And yes, don't get me wrong, Plymouth and Coventry aren't the most glitzy, glamorous clubs. And Wayne Rooney and Frank Lampard were phenomenal players. But you can't disrespect a club like that. No one person is bigger than your football club. Now that's on my chest, evening, Jimmy. Hope all is well. 5-0 drubbing on Saturday. About time someone got smashed. Dare I say, Brewster hat-trick. You can say it all you like, pal. He took his goal well, and let's hope for it as well. What's this I saw in the WhatsApp group? And Nell asked to leave. Thought it was happy here. No, it was something that somebody called Joel posted on X that somebody put in our WhatsApp group. It's not true. It's fake news. Fake news, pal. Don't worry about it. Smash that like button, says Pixie. Thank you, mate. Best possible team available. No ifs or buts, says Steve. While we've got our foot on the rest of the league, we need to press home and maintain our position. I'm of that thinking, really. And with my team, I'm only resting people that I think we have to or aren't, aren't available. So, good evening, Jimmy, says Nige. Good test of the mentality of the team against Argyle. Need to take them to the sword and get that goal difference better. Wouldn't say us and Leeds are pulling away. All depends on Burnley's results, but we need to win too. I think what I might do, Nige, because of how well the Leeds Borough watch along went on the other night, whenever they play, or Tuesday, on Behind the Ramble, I think I'm gonna do a Burnley watch along for their trip to Norwich on Sunday. So watch this space. David Vinter says, I think it's time to start Davies next to Sousa after his cameo on Wednesday. Great result, but take nothing for granted Saturday. Time to improve the goal difference, up the blades, up the ram. I would just take 3 points, to be honest. I know everybody wants the goal difference improving, but if you offer me 1-0 now, I'm taking it. Like Steve says, it's all about stepping on the necks of those beneath us, which sounds really horrible, but it's true. It's true. Hi, Jim. Hope you're all right, pal. I am. Thank you, Harry. Would like to see Brooks play, especially against the weaker side. Tom Davies and City in midfield and Rian up front, same back line, and possibly a Femi cameo. I don't know where Femi Sariki was the other night. Hey, up, Jimmy. When you see Connor later, ask him who's top. Saturday game is a must win. I'm going 2-0. Paul says, great watch along, Jimmy. 1,000+ is a great achievement on YouTube. Had the pleasure of annoying a few salty Leeds fans at work today. Nice one, pal. I'm glad you've done that. Got 4 minutes left, so I'm going to be as quick as I can to try and get through all these. And still have Muppets on Facebook morning. Top of the league, midweek win. We've got this league. Oh, Pixie, that's a big shout. Scotty says, why is this a thing? Lol, Lampard's Coventry, Rooney's Plymouth, Gerrard's Saudi team. Skulls toe picks, says Scott. Evening, Jimmy. Good evening, Scottish player. Don't you well, pal? No longer Gerrard. Oh, they sacked him. They sacked Gerrard. I didn't realise. Vinny missing 2 games, if true, couldn't come at a better time. Plymouth and Cardiff next, so a decent rest for Burnley on Boxing Day. Completely agree. Tom Davies and Brooks to start against Plymouth and Brewster up front, says Scottish Blade. Interesting. Brewster on Campbell up front when fit. Bring O'Hare second half. All right, okay. Teams will cack themselves. Evening, Jimmy, says Rich. More nervous about the next as we expected to beat the next 2. Did you know what happened to Sariki? No, I'm not sure, pal. Not sure. I keep O'Hare now, picks it. I was one of them calling for him to be dropped, says Nige. But to be honest, he's playing well. He is playing well. We could always switch it around. Yes, O'Hare's playing well, but could do with a rest. I'm not going to catch up these comments, I don't think. Jamie says, evening, Jimmy. Could see it being another Oxford carnage, to say the least. So we... carnage, to say the least, in the group chat. Yeah, there's been a bit of drama in there today. Could see it being another Oxford. We took his foot off, didn't we? Took the foot off the gas at 3-0 against Oxford and coasted. So we'll see. Kiefer and Femi on the bench, says Scottish Blade. Great goal that mate against Millwall, says Ricky. I think he's maybe slightly tired. Give Brooks the next game. Yeah, Raksaki. I'd be up for giving Brooks a game. Steve says, up the Blades, up the Ramble. 4-0 Blades against Plymouth. Wow. Jack says, hello. Should be easy 3 points. I've got a feeling they'll sit back and try and get us on the counter, so we'll have to be fast-paced and creative to break them down. Hit the like button, Blade, says Danny Boy. I'm sorry, I'm just going to have to try and skip through and make sure I get everybody at least one comment in. Jimmy, do you think the hype surrounded by Rooney's appointment at Plymouth is now wearing thin because it looks like he's on borrowed time? It does, doesn't it? And it quickly will wear thin when results are going against you. And I can't see anything but a Blades win. I can't see anything but a Blades win on Saturday. Evening, Jimmy, says Mr. V. Nice to hear from Jack and his honest opinion. I fully expect a 3-0 win with O'Hare, Davis and Rian to score. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Like and subscribe. Thank you, pal. Doubling Blades, says Den Blades. 4-0 Den Blades. And unfortunately, 1-3 Leeds win along with a Burnley draw and Sunderland loss. Wow. Jimmy, great to see you growing podcast from humble beginnings, going to over 5K, mind-boggling, plus the amount of folks watching you watch along last night. Thank you, Michael. Really appreciate it. Just a thought with Plymouth going to sit in, would you play a more attacking right back? Gilchrist is not the best option. Best going forward. Play with a more attacking right back, in my opinion, up the Ramble. Maybe, Matthew, if Sariki had been in the squad, I think it's a no-brainer to play Sariki. But I don't know where he was last night at all. So if he's got a slight knock, then it'd be interesting to see if he's fit. But I wouldn't mind him playing. Game we should easily win, says Ray. But like you said, Jimmy, could be a possible banana skin. We'll win 3-0. David, good evening, mate. Says, trying to stay positive, but games like this, Blades always seem to have the wrong attitude, hoping Wilder drills it into them. Brewster needs moving on in the summer, says Matt. Nice kid, but stealing a wage. Apart from the goal, he didn't even do out guys' garbage. He got us the 3 points last night. Without him there in that position, we don't win the game. So I see what you're saying, Matt, and you're entitled to your opinion if you don't think he's good enough. But Lax Luthor says we can't approach Plymouth like it's a gimme. They have a week to recover before Cardiff, so we should go full strength. Beast Boy says Brewster has to start, and I would like to see Brooks on the pitch as Raksaki has been a bit poor as of late. Hopefully, Rian can bag again. Ryan, thank you for being a new member, pal. Really appreciate it. What's the link to Connor's channel, pal? Want to see it's One Leeds fan channel on YouTube. I haven't got a link to it, but if you subscribe, if you go over across and subscribe there, then that's where I'll be any minute now. Scott says, evening, Jimmy. Our final comment of the night says, hope all is well. Like the look of your lineup. Think this is a good game for Moore to get back in the fray. I'll be on board giving Brooks a run and Raksaki later on. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. And thank you to everybody for joining me tonight. I'm probably going to be a touch late now for Connor's stream, so I'm going to jump over there before I upset him. Thank you to everybody. I'm going 3-0 Blades. 3-0 Blades. But I'd take a winner. I'd take 1-0. Let me know again in the comments what you'd take. But for now, come on, you red and white wizards.